All right. Well, good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. My name is Robin Elander. I'm the Executive Director for Downtown Santa Barbara, an organization that supports and promotes over 1,400 businesses in the downtown district. Today, we are very excited to have two business owners here who do really yummy breakfast and brunches. But before we start to talk with them, I want to introduce my amazing co-host, Matt Kettmann, for this series. And Matt has been the senior editor at the Santa Barbara Independent, where he's worked since '99. He's covered quite a wide range of topics. He mostly focuses on food and drink, as well as special topics for the paper. He's also a contributing editor to Wine Enthusiast magazine, where he reviews more than 200 wines every month, which I just think is the coolest job ever. And he also recently published a book called Vines and Visions, the Winemakers of Santa Barbara County. So thanks, Matt, as always, for co-hosting with me here, and I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Robin. Thanks for the intro. And as she said, I've been at the Independent for a long time and covering food for a good amount of that time. One thing we don't cover as much as we do other foods is actually breakfast, although I eat a lot of breakfast and I tend to eat out breakfast as much as possible. It's one of my favorite meals to eat out. And actually, I think that, I've talked to different people around the country and people from other parts of the world and tried to define what is American food. And other than like a cheeseburger or a hot dog, it really comes down to, I think, kind of a breakfast experience is something in America that you don't really get necessarily in other places, especially when it comes to like a diner experience, like a JJ's or a Cajun Kitchen or that sort of thing. And D'Angelo's here, Alex is also from D'Angelo's, and that's kind of a nice blend of kind of a European style and an American style. You kind of get a little bit of the best of both worlds when you go to D'Angelo's. So as Robin said, we have two great guests. We have Alex Natrielli from D'Angelo's. He's the GM over there, and he has a great history here in town. He's originally from Brazil, and he'll tell us about his journeys back and forth doing restaurants in both countries. And then we have Juan Jimenez, who comes from the legendary Jimenez family that's owned the Cajun Kitchen for, it sounds like, almost 40 years now. And Juan went out on his own a little while ago and started JJ's Diner right down there on Lower State Street. And so we're going to hear from him as well about what makes that different than Cajun Kitchen and all of that. So then we'll talk a little bit about, as we usually do, some of the challenges during COVID and how they've adapted. And then spin it a little forward into the future, and hopefully talk about some of the recommended dishes too to leave us all a little hungry. So let's start with Juan, because his family goes back so deep here in Santa Barbara history. Tell us about how your family got into the restaurant business to begin with, and then spin us forward to what's going on at JJ's there.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. I just sent some people over to Alex today. We're on a little bit different style of restaurant. If people want espresso and breakfast, I send them over there. So I grew up here in Santa Barbara, or kind of in the middle of Santa Barbara and Goleta. I was born and raised here. I went to school in San Diego. I went to San Diego State. I studied marketing over there. I didn't do anything with that degree. Except for what I'm doing now, maybe. I don't know what I learned from the restaurants or what I learned from school. It kind of all meshes together. But I was over there.
Real quick one. Did your family? Did you work in the restaurant as a kid at all? I mean, were you forced to do work in the kitchens?
I did. We used to go as kids. Like after school, my mom would take us there when my dad was still working. We'd clean basically. I don't know if we wanted to be doing that or if that was just something we were taken over there, so we had to work. But I remember we would help like the dishwasher. The earliest thing my brother and I would do is like just bring dishes from the dish pit or from the clean rack into the restaurant. But I think the dishwashers liked having us there when we were younger. But so we spent time working in the restaurant, and a lot of it was playing too. We'd be playing in the restaurant when my mom and dad were closing the restaurant at night. We spent a lot of time there. And then when I was in high school, I worked there on the weekends. I spent a lot of time there as a kid. I went to school. I don't know if I had plans of getting back into the business. I think part of me was trying to get away from that, but inevitably I ended up here. But so yeah, I went to school. I was bartending and serving in San Diego for a few years after that. I didn't go and get like a real job or a corporate job or anything. And after San Diego, I went to San Francisco briefly, worked in restaurants there. That was a completely different world. That dining world is amazing. It opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, which was cool, but I was also a little late learning about cuisine. So I came back home to get into the family business. My brother was already working in the restaurants with my dad, and I joined them, and my brother and I made a good team. He was a good like middleman to kind of help my dad and I communicate, because we were always kind of butting heads. So it worked out. It worked out pretty well. I spent about 7 years there, kind of getting the restaurants, I guess I'd say updating them, getting them all to work together. They all kind of grew into their own thing after so many years. And eventually I wanted to branch out. I tried a donut shop at the beginning of COVID that didn't work. I don't know if it was COVID or if it just wasn't going to work. It was probably a little bit of both. I learned a lot. And at that time, Cajun Kitchen on Delavina closed permanently, which was kind of bittersweet because that was the first one. But we brought most of that equipment over and opened JJ's Diner here. We like to look at it as like the reincarnation of the original Cajun Kitchen. And was
that Delavina closure? Was that COVID related, or that was just kind of a lease issue, typical thing?
It was a little bit of both. They closed temporarily for COVID, and then once, there's a tiny patio, so we weren't able to open really during. And then on top of that, the lease was coming up. It was a small location, so yeah, for a few factors, it closed down. It wasn't in the plan yet to open JJ's. That decision came after doing that. So that sort of rescued me. So thanks, Dad, for that. So I was able to open JJ's, and we just celebrated our year anniversary last weekend.
Congratulations.
And yeah, thank you.
Quite a year to be opening a new business, that's for sure.
Yeah, and opening two during during COVID, I kind of forget about that. It's been very stressful, very rewarding. Not to complain, a lot of people's plans change. So we're all still kind of navigating this and trying to see where this is all going to go once we open up more.
And what sets JJ's apart from Cajun? Like, what's the? I know I was telling you before we started, my Cajun history goes back deep, back to the one that was in, I think you said Airport Plaza off Fairview when I was in college, and I know the Cajun menu like the back of my hand a little bit. I just ate there on Sunday. I eat there all the time. It was the last place I ate before on March 15th, 2020. It was my last restaurant experience as a breakfast, sitting at the one on Cairo. So I know that menu really well, but what makes JJ's menu different, and what are you trying to do differently there?
Well, generally business-wise, the customer experience-wise, we really just wanted to model Cajun Kitchen, just to have a breakfast and lunch diner, good service. We want kind of anybody that walks through the door to kind of be familiar with what we're serving. On the business side, on the back end, we slimmed down the menu a ton to try and, to make the kitchen run a little smoother. A lot of those Cajun dishes have the biggest prep times. They're prepping big batches of stuff, so we don't have as much of that, which was kind of planned. But we really do want this one, we want to be able to expand at some point. So we feel like this JJ's Diner concept would be more conducive to that. But as far as being different, we do have a lot of the same dishes. So I kind of expect people to know that, you know, it's the same family. We're doing some of the same stuff. So I don't worry about that too much, but brand, like superficially, the brand is a little bit different.
Great. And you're doing breakfast and lunch every day of the week?
Breakfast and lunch. We were closed Wednesday. We're actually opening back up on Wednesdays next week. So yes, daily. Eventually we might do nights, like weekend nights, which I think would be cool. Doing like a late night diner. I think that might do well, but we might have to wait till like summertime to try that out. But
That's you're on a good block for that. So
yeah,
I think that would do really well. But yeah, everything needs to be kind of open and ready for that to happen. So
Matt, I think
yeah, and you know, staffing is kind of an issue with that. So once we get to that point, and we can staff up for that.
just because Juan didn't mention at the beginning where JJ's is located, and because it's somewhat new, we should just make sure people know exactly where it is too.
So it's on the 400 block. We're at 413 State Street. We're the last block before the dip under the freeway. We are the only block that's not blocked off to pedestrians, so there's still some car traffic, but yeah, 400 block, right next door to the cigar lounge, who we love.
And you serve beer and wine too?
We don't. We're in the process of getting that taken care of, but yeah, I think that will be pretty big for business. Yeah. Great.
Cool. Well, let's jump. Yeah, mimosas for sure. Or micheladas. That's what I wind up having at
that. Yes, that's it.
All right, let's jump over to Alex to tell us a little bit about his history and D'Angelo. So Alex, tell us all about yourself and where you're from and how you got involved in Santa Barbara restauranting.
Hello, thank you. Pleasure to be here. Everything started, came here 1997 to study English, Santa Barbara City College. I grew up in an Italian kitchen with my family in Brazil, so I have some skills of cooking. And the Spanish sounds much easier than English, you know, and you need to work. And so I started working in the kitchens and doing HRC, Hotel Restaurant Culinary at City College. So then things went go together, finished City College here, went to Cal Poly Pomona, got my bachelor's in hospitality business from Cal Poly Pomona. As I finished over there, I started work for CPK, and I got transferred back to Santa Barbara, place that I love it. It's amazing. And 2004, I think I started work at another Italian place, Bucatini, used to be in State Street, same block, 400 block of State Street over there, stayed in Coda. I got an opportunity to go back to Brazil, stayed there for 10 years, opened 4 restaurants with my family, with my dad. Same thing as JJ, I used to bug my dad. Italian blood, me and my dad, we need an extra brother to fit us in the middle, but it was fun. It was a lot of experience.
And were those Italian restaurants, or what were they in Brazil?
Northeast Brazil, all Italian restaurants, all Italian, yes, all Italian. So I'm back here back in 2017. I started work at Trelune, the same owner every year as D'Angelo.
Yeah, and just so people know that, like when you started working at Bucatini, that's Gene Montesano, Lucky Gene, and that's right around when he started to get in the restaurant business. So he has Lucky's and Joe's and Tre Lune, and then Bucatini was the Italian joint on State Street, which is now I think that Noodle House.
That's the Noodle House, correct? Yes, that's this.
So you came back and then got a job. What did you say at Tre Lune?
Tre Lune, yes. Okay. And then 2 years ago, Gene needed help with the bakery. I have a little background working in bakery as well, but kitchen always was my forte. Say, hey, you take the challenge. You know, over here's morning, Larry's at 9. We work every day, 7 to 2. So public. So being here for almost 2 years is being fun. Like we got the whole COVID, like Juan said, you know, it's challenge. It's hard to find the people right now, you know, but we struggle. We struggle. Every day is a new challenge. Every day is a new thing. We just got our beer and wine license like a week ago.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a helpful too, mimosas, micheladas, beers, wines, not much, but can help for the breakfast that we do. Something different, D'Angelo, not just we have the kitchen for the breakfast, but we do have an entire bakery. So we always baking breads, tarts, muffins. So there's the great smell of bread in the air the whole time.
Yeah, you see D'Angelo bread at restaurants all around town too. So
yeah, we've Gene put a lot of effort, to change the equipment that we have right now in terms of prover, in terms of the oven, loader. Bread is a whole chemistry. So you need to have the right humidity, you need to have the right temperature, you need to have, to control everything. You'll be able to have a consistency on the way you make your bread. And I think we're getting there every day a little bit more,
Right. And for people who haven't eaten at D'Angelo's, why don't you explain like what your menu is like and what kind of food people can expect there?
Sure. We're open, like I said, 7 to 2, 7 days a week, breakfast and lunch. But the breakfast menu and the lunch menu is pretty much the same. You can order the entire day. We do have the breakfast dishes like huevos rancheros, egg bacons, sausage and potatoes. And we have sandwiches, we have salads, and people can go vary between those. Like I said, huevo rancheros people love. The eggs Benedict with smoked salmon, and people enjoy. Croissant egg sandwich is a very popular one. And most of the people, when they see it, you have the choice to choose the pastries, so they can go for the cinnamon bun, almond chocolate, almond croissant, chocolate croissant, and things like that.
And you have the full, like Juan was saying, you have the full espresso setup too, so you can get your full on coffee.
We do
drinks.
have the whole set of espressos, our macchiato, cappuccino, latte, cafe au lait, and the regular coffee. Yes.
Is there, from your experience working in more traditional Italian spots, what's different about working at a bakery and managing a bakery? I mean, it must be quite different.
First, the hours. Now we start at 3 o'clock in the morning. No, yeah. Besides the hours at 3 o'clock in the morning, like I said, the bread, it's when you're in the kitchen cooking, just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Bread, you must follow the recipe by the book. If you a little bit more and maybe you screw the whole recipe that you have. The fermentation process is something that you be aware. If it's grow too much, it's gonna fall. So you have to have that time to grow. And right now, since we have a prover, we can control the humidity and temperature, make it easier on our end to make the bread in a better consistency.
Is there like a secret manual for the D'Angelo's recipe? I mean, is there like a keeper of the recipe, or how do you make sure that it is consistent?
Love. We use love.
There you go. Nice.
No.
Good answer.
I don't know. No, I think it's I think first is Gene Afford. His personality with us, with the employee, he's fantastic. At least it's what I can say about him. He's always here. He's part of the business. You can sometimes see him 3 times a day in the restaurant. He's make sure everybody's doing okay. He helps. He see what we need. Like I say, with equipment. You have a good equipment in the kitchen, gonna help you a lot and make a good bread. And treat well your employees. Like especially today, but always you should treat. They are a key to produce what we do. Without them, we'd not be able to do anything. So I believe the key would be somewhere like that.
Right. That's great. And while we're talking to you, why don't we shift to just talking about what you guys did for COVID? I mean, just because I'm thinking about it, you guys don't have a lot of, you've always had sidewalk seating, but you didn't have a ton of outdoor space. So what was the shift that you guys made to kind of accommodate the COVID situation? So
D'Angelo over here in 25 West Gutierrez, just in the corner as where Juan it is, JJ. So we stayed in Gutierrez. We are in a gallery. There's an alley. With the COVID, we're able to start use the space of the alley with some chairs.
Oh, that's right. That's a great little alley there too.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
Yes, so, you guys are branded that Sevilla Square, right?
Yes, Sevilla Square. Thank you. That's the name of the gallery. Correct. So we are able to use that during COVID. So that helps a lot because nowhere could sit inside.
And then I'm sure your bakery business took a bit of a hit because restaurants weren't serving as much bread, but then again, people want their baked goods too. So how did you manage that?
At the beginning, we suffered, like we suffer because even restaurants for a few months, everybody closed. So we stay with some supermarkets, few restaurants. So we dropped drastically the amount of bread we're selling, for sure. Especially, we were not using our own bread. We have that advantage. We use our own bread. So we use we're not open. So lately, we're being able to catch up. I think everybody's getting a little more business. Things start to accelerate a little better. So I think we're in the right direction.
Right. And business is, I mean, the in-store business is happening and pretty steady.
Pretty steady, yes.
Yeah.
No complaints.
And you must get a good mix of tourists and locals, right? I mean, because locals love you, but then also you're a really prime spot for tourists to stop by too.
But I think we still work for more locals, Seems like we kind of hide over here in Gutierrez,
Yeah.
Everybody going to stay, pass up and down. Nobody going, oh, it's a dead end, But we're lucky. We have some places, Riviera and Extras. You have the Soup Yoga over here. Has some business that's been here for a long time. DeAndre's here for 30 years. So that's helped.
In there.
Yeah, that's helped a little bit too.
Right, great. Let's go to Juan. Juan, when COVID, I mean, you were starting a donut store when COVID came. So obviously you went through, and you told us a little bit about that, but what have you done with JJ's to accommodate? And you're also a little bit constricted, like, as you mentioned, you still have car traffic on State Street. So how do you accommodate, outdoor seating and that sort of thing?
Well, we were able to put some tables on. So the street is still open, but they moved out the sidewalk area a little bit. So we have some tables and we have some seating on the street. So that's working out okay. The city recently came and made us take our sidewalk tables off because of ADA reasons. That was really frustrating. But so we took some of that away, but we still have seating outside. So that's been super helpful just to have the outdoor seating. I mean, it's kind of the only way that it was working at the beginning. So besides that, at the beginning, I mean, it was like for them too, it was just takeout. And that just reminded me of with Alex talking how it was at the beginning. That was really scary. I'm glad we're away from that part. It was just, for me, it was me in the front and one cook in the back, and it was just takeout and delivery. Luckily we got through that time. But yeah, for us, it's the same. Like we would love to see more locals, tourists, and not to hate on the locals. We have a lot of regular locals. I get why, generally we're all trying to get people to come out downtown. So it's been okay. We get a little bit of mixture of both. It's a little hard to find us, with foot traffic, but slowly we're getting there as more and more people kind of come out and explore a little bit more after being at home for so long. So yeah,
it seems like you could do a good, I mean, you're not open as a diner at night, but almost like you could be advertising to all the people that are at the bars down there at night that you should come to my place the next day.
Yeah,
to soak up the morning,
Yeah.
And what are some of the challenges you're seeing now? I mean, the supply chain thing is, I think, really hitting the ground in a lot of places now, and obviously employees are hard to come by in every single industry, including journalism and everything else. So, Juan, what are some of the challenges you're dealing with right now?
Yeah, the supply, random things are out of stock. Just, Coca-Cola, bottles of Mexican Coca-Cola are tough to get sometimes. We're lucky, since we're a diner, there are a lot of things I can run to Smart and Final for. So we always have that as a backup. Staffing is difficult. Luckily, we have a good staff right now, solid staff that I'm really happy with. We have to, pay attention a little more to just training now, because we can hire people that don't have too much experience, but just want to work and have good attitudes. It's it's been a little difficult. But besides that, yeah, we're kind of making it through the supply stuff. Okay, I'm sure it might be harder for Alex with his supplies, but yeah, we can run a Smart and Final. It's kind of nice.
Right. Alex, what are you seeing? What are some of the challenges you're running into these days that were maybe unexpected? Or
like I say, I do love to have the Smart and Final here. It's just a block away,
cool.
and that's a great help.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes, it's sometimes I cannot find water, sparkling water, we don't get it. It's what do we find out that you cannot stick? I love to use product A, but be flexible, because A and B, you're not gonna find the market. You won't have the C. Take for that week and hope next week you're gonna have the one. We do use some Italian products like prosciutto, mortadella, and salami. Sometimes we cannot get them, so we try to change for a different one or be without the product. Like Juan said, looking for people. We're still looking for people. You start training and they go away, so just be patient, and one day you're gonna find someone. But yeah, good attitude for the people coming to work. And products wise, it's cross your fingers when you make your order that your product's gonna arrive. You're never gonna know.
I imagine baking, you can't just pull anybody off the street and train them to be a baker, right? I mean, that's a specialized skill, right? I mean, how
Yes.
long does it take so when you're looking for bakers, are you looking for bakers, or can you take someone that knows nothing about baking and train them?
Okay, I'm glad we have people who are with us for forever, but we recently have a new guy join the team that we're flirting with him for a while, Hey, we need you, flirt, until we able to, lucky enough, he came to join the team. So then we have the team, but we need the helpers. So with that in mind, we're more flexible to get someone to training. Yes, experience is always a plus, but I think the most important today, we look for attitude. Someone that really wants to learn something. Someone that need the work. Be serious about what you're doing, because our hours, it's another hard thing. Wake up at 2:30 in the morning every day to be at work at 3. It's a little challenge. Not for everybody.
Yeah, that's a rough time set. I remember I used to live around the corner from Jimmy's when it was open, the bar on Canna Perdido, and sometimes we'd leave the bar late enough that we'd walk by our Daily Bread when our Daily Bread was where Say Cheese was, and these guys were baking inside, and we kind of befriended them so much that they would actually let me go bake with them at times, and I'd be like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I baking at 2 a.m. in the morning? But we got to know their schedule. We got to know their schedule quite well. And wound up with
if you pass through Gutierrez around 3 o'clock in the morning, we're gonna be busy. Trust me, like people inside like nuts, like a red drink espresso and baking.
Yeah. What time does those people, are they off by the morning? I mean, they're off by like 11 or 12 or something. What time?
11
do they get
o'clock,
off?
between 10 and 12. It's usually it's an 8-hour shift, but the quantity of bread, the quantity of orders, whatever we're selling, whatever needs to be produced, it's demanding the time they should stay here.
Yeah.
It's hard to say a setting time.
It's like the vampire shift. The
Yes.
baking shift.
Respect those bakers. They're doing the hard stuff.
Definitely a lot of.
All right, Juan, why don't you make us hungry? What would be a dish if I was to go in there tomorrow morning? I mean, what would you recommend? And I eat everything. So what's kind of one of your specialty dishes that you think our listeners or watchers would enjoy to try out?
Yeah. First, I do want to say during COVID, customers during COVID have been very understanding, which has been cool. The people that are out eating, when you're out of something, when a big thing for us is figuring out the hours we're open, we figured it out now, but for hours of operation, people have been really, really understanding, which has been good. They know that businesses are figuring things out as they go as well. So that's been really cool. For our menu items, the chicken fried steak is really popular. Corned beef hash and eggs, that would probably be my favorite. We do have peanut butter and jelly French toast. If you want something kind of sweet, that's nice. Sometimes I'll eat that for lunch, which I regret sometimes, but yeah, those are really good. Anything with our French toast is really good. I like our French toast.
Good.
Yeah.
My partner's a big corned beef hash fan, so now I know, and we'll have to come in for that.
Yeah. And a lot of people, you know, a big question in the diner world is like, does it come out of a can? And no, ours doesn't come out of a can.
That's
We make
good.
it here. So yeah. I had one guy before say he preferred it in a can, but it was, I think it was for nostalgic purposes.
Probably, yes.
That was just one guy.
Oh, that's great. Alex, how about you? What we're going in there tomorrow to eat. What are you gonna recommend? What's gonna blow our socks off?
Ooh, huevos rancheros, the eggs, the salmon Benedict. It's outstanding. We have the banana forest, is like French toast with a banana caramel on top. It's a die for.
That sounds so good right now.
Sounds like we could have a French toast battle between you guys.
There you go.
Great. Well,
French toast is good.
Show, so we see it happening. That would be fun.
That would be fun. Great. Well, Robin, they've answered all my questions. I think we covered a lot. I'm hungry now.
I know, I'm hungry too. Well, we do have one person who said that they actually went and had the egg rolls this morning, so it was amazing. So you got to
thank you. Glad you heard that. Glad you heard that.
Well, I want to just check in with you to see if there's anything coming up that you would want our viewers or our future viewers, because a lot of these shows get watched kind of whether it's next week or a couple weeks later. What would you like people to know that's maybe coming up, or do you have any events or things that you want to make sure people know, or specific jobs that you're trying to hire, and maybe we'll try to get you some folks?
Alex, you want to go?
Yeah.
Sure. So we just got our beer and wine license. That's something I just said. So we are still putting the signs around because I don't think people know. So our breakfast, we're gonna have some mimosas. We like to say to people, we do amazing breads, you know, so all types of breads, sourdough, rice, sweet breads, you know, pretzels. Our pretzels, it's something else. So people doesn't know, just come and try our pretzels. We do make great pretzels, as well as the tarts, you know. So New Year's here.
Just come in to take those away, right? You don't have to eat them at the.
Oh, no, we do have the to-go. You just come in, order, and leave, you know, from the balcony. And as an Italian tradition, we sell panettones. You know, that's the sweet bread with dry fruits inside. But today we do chocolate with prosecco, with pears, all kinds of those. We do have some of those over here as well for Christmas time.
Sounds like, yeah, good Thanksgiving or Christmas treat.
There we go.
Yeah, good idea. Juan, what about you? Anything else you want to share before we talk about next week's show and a couple of updates?
I would just encourage, I would want to encourage locals to come out downtown and explore a little bit. And I totally get the, you know, downtown is tough these days. But yeah, I would say, you know, venture outside of the fenced off pedestrian part and come down to the 400 block and Gutierrez over by where we are. Yeah, I think downtown is on its way to becoming what it was. COVID's been tough, but we love seeing locals out, and we could use more of them. Like I said, I get it. I'm not trying to give people a hard time.
Yeah, we're totally a work in progress. A lot of
yeah, totally, and I totally understand.
A lot of
we're all in it together. Yeah, we're all in it together, and we have a lot to offer too, and we can also improve. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some more people out.
Yeah.
Well, and Juan, while I'm talking to you, I've always wanted to do like a wine event at a diner space. For many years I was thinking it'd be cool to do something at Judge for Yourself up on Santa Barbara Street, where I used to eat a long time when I lived downtown. But your spot would be ideal for something like that, because once you get your beer and wine license and all that, I mean, because you'd have people walking by, they'd see people doing cool stuff inside. It'd be nighttime, it'd be your off hours, but it'd be kind of fun to maybe collaborate on something like that one day down the road too. It'd be kind of cool.
I agree. Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. What else is happening at the Independent, Matt, that we should know about?
We have our education guide coming out next week. We do every year that focuses on some of the schools around town. So that's coming out next week. Next week's cover story is actually on Chris Shiflett, who is he's a guitarist from Santa Barbara. He's in the Foo Fighters. He was just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So we kind of have his origin story, which I think will be pretty cool. And then the week after that, we have our Local Heroes issue, which was the first issue ever of the Santa Barbara Independent back in 1986. We shine a light on, a lot of the really interesting people around town that are doing things that are good for the community, and that's always a fun, really meaningful issue, I think, for the community and for the staff too, to put it together. And then we roll into holiday season, where we have our 'Tis the Season issue, our gift guide, and then a few other things leading up to Christmas and New Year's and all that at the end of the year. So kind of a busy time of year for us. We always think we're going to roll into it's the easy part of the year, but actually it's one of the hardest part of the years for the paper. There's just so much stuff happening week after week after week. And then the schedules are all messed up because of the holidays, right? So you have days off and all that too. So there's early deadlines and all that, but we persevere, and it's some of our, better issues of the year. So that's something to look forward to.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, we're definitely in that same mode. We're kind of in this chug, getting situated for all kinds of upcoming holiday events and different activities right now. So we have, and then State Street Promenade Market, of course, is happening again today, Thursday, until 7:30. Lots of different local businesses you can check out. We are about to have Small Business Saturday, which is November 27th. It's a great opportunity to really check out what businesses are doing. People have specials and different cool things to check out, and we have a lot of giveaways and kind of special offers. Big Shop Local campaign. And then we dive right into the holidays. And instead of our holiday parade, we will be having a whole lot of magical holiday pop-up events throughout the entire month of December. It starts, like I said, on the 27th of November. And then we have every Thursday through Saturday, we'll have music events throughout downtown. So lots of things to check out. We have Santa a couple different nights. We have Tuba Christmas. We have some parade procession type elements, but not the full parade, but a lot of really cool stuff for families and kiddos and everybody to come out and check out. So if you happen to be attending this for the very first time, we have interviewed probably over 150 or more downtown business owners over the past year, and it's been really special, and they are all recorded and available on our website at downtownsb.org, and then also at the Independent site, as well as all recorded live on both Facebook and of both of our organizations, as well as redistributed on TVSB on many different days. So you can check out and really get to know who is behind all of these really cool businesses. So it's really awesome to hear their stories, hear your stories today, both Alex and Juan. We're going to hear the stories of two businesses next week on the 18th, Japanese cuisine. So we're going to hear from Tiruisha, probably not saying that correct, so sorry about that, but it's called Tiru Japanese cuisine. And then we've got the owner, Buck, from Wabi Sabi. So good stuff we're going to be talking about next week. Anything last that you want to add, Matt, before we hop off today?
I don't think so. I feel like I should get some breakfast tomorrow, but other than that, I think we're good.
Yeah, yes, Foster or something yummy there with JJ. So lots of good stuff. I'm definitely officially hungry. I invite everybody out to check out both of these businesses. And if you haven't been to either, you are missing out. And if you have not been to all of the other businesses, do a scavenger hunt that has already occurred, but we've got a lot of best of locations that the Independent just put out in recent weeks. So you can still look through those and see so many great different downtown locations. All right, we will see you on next Thursday at 3 o'clock. So nice to have you both, Alex and Juan, on the show. Great to see you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you.